When Tricia O'Connor brought her son Ben home from Vietnam a little more than a year ago, she felt tremendously blessed. She and her husband finally had the sweet baby they had been praying for so long. But for Tricia and other adoptive moms just like her, the blessings were just beginning. Drawing on her experiences, Tricia helped to form a support group called Viet Moms, where other mothers who have adopted children from Vietnam can come to find friendship, support, and so much more. The time we spent with them found us tremendously blessed as well. We hope you will be blessed also. Tricia O'Connor is one of the founders of the Viet Moms group. And Tricia, I'm curious to know, before we talk about the group, how did you come to adopt a child from Vietnam in the first place?
My husband and I had multiple miscarriages and an unsuccessful attempt at in vitro. And right at the end of that process, we knew that we were still wanting to have a family, and so we immediately started the adoption process. And we contacted our agency that we ended up using, Dillon International, and they had a workshop immediately. We went to it and we started the process, and there were 6 countries to choose from, and we looked at each of them and decided Vietnam met most of the criteria that we kind of had at that time, and Vietnam had just reopened to adoptions at that time. So our time frame worked out perfectly. We were right at the beginning of the adoption process, and it went really fast for us. It took 7 months from the time that we mailed our initial application until we had Ben in our arms.
And you've had your son Ben for a little over a year?
That's right.
And talk about just the process of bringing him home and just how that has gone for the last year.
Well, it was very hard in the beginning, but I mean, it was great, obviously, but it was hard. He was 16 months old when we met him for the first time in Vietnam. We were in Vietnam for 3 weeks with him, and that was a great time. It was also very stressful and hard to be in a foreign country with a toddler who was running, not walking or learning to crawl, but running around our hotel room. We had a wonderful time, and we got to explore some of the country, but we were also getting to know Ben, and that was the most important thing for us while we were there. And then when we came home, it was Christmas Eve, so we got to spend our first day home with him on Christmas Day, which was such a wonderful blessing for us and our whole family. And the transition of getting to know our child and having a new person in our house and getting over jet lag all at the same time was a treat. But we made all of those transitions great, and he is just the most normal 2.5-year-old, and it's fun every day.
And as a mom, you've come to know other moms in the Conway area who have also adopted from Vietnam, and that's why you started this group. Tell me a little bit about that.
Okay, well, Stacy, it was the first person that I got to know in Conway. She was in the same sort of time frame that we were in the beginning of our process, so we became very good friends right away. And it was just the two of us for most of last year, and then we've heard that the Russells were going to be adopting, and we ended up going to a workshop where they were prospective adoptive parents, and we were doing show and tell, where we came with Ben because we had just come home with him, and telling other couples about how great our process was and the whole adoption journey. And that's really where we met them outside of just a professional setting. And so knowing Stacy and then Shelley, and then we just gradually heard about other people, we decided that it would be great to have a group of moms that could get together and talk about things that we share that are different maybe from other moms of biological children, issues that really are specific to adopted children. Just even tonight we were talking about the life book process, which is something that the adoption community really stresses is important for adopted children, that they have a book that tells their story. It's a little different than a baby book because it talks about the birth family. If the child was adopted internationally, it talks about their birth country and what their life was like before they were adopted. Ben spent 16 months in an orphanage, so he obviously has a whole story even before we met him, and that time will be important for him to know about later on when he's an adult. So those are great issues that we get to share with each other and talk about. How are you doing that? And, you know, how are you handling sleep issues and stuff like that may be a little bit different for a child that's been adopted.
Tell us where you are in the process right now.
We are near the finish line, we hope. This was one of those things, learning patience has been one of those skills we've had to develop, because we started the process at the informational meeting in February, so it's been almost a year. Started the process in March and April and did all of those things. Got our referral, which means we got matched with a child at the end of September. And typically you travel somewhere between 3 to 6 months after that to get your child. So we are hoping at the end of next month or the beginning, around March or April, we're hoping will be our journey to pick up our little boy.
And tell us about him.
Oh, I was hoping you'd ask that. Sam is, he just turned 2 a couple of weeks ago, and he lives there at the orphanage and is the sweetest little boy. And we have gotten lots of pictures of him and even video. One of the Viet Moms traveled recently to get her little boy, and this is another one of those little bonding moments for us as a group, because when she was there, they filmed, and we sent a little photo album of us as family members for him to look at. So we have this great video of him sitting on the floor, looking at our pictures, kind of getting used to the way we look, so it won't be so traumatic when we sneak in and take him away in a couple of months. So
it seems like just from the short time that I've been here tonight, you all as women have an incredible sense of community just together with this experience that you're sharing.
it really is an added benefit that we certainly never anticipated when we got started. Tricia, she's one of those gals who just brings people together, and it has really been such a supportive group, because there are so many little caveats to the international adoption process that were either unanticipated or unwanted, and many of those things can be helped with all of us supporting each other, and it's just been quite a blessing for all of us. It's been great.
Stacy, tell me about how you got involved in this group and about your little boy, Howie.
Okay. Tricia and I both brought home our children within months of each other, and we noticed that more people were going to Vietnam from Conway. And we just thought it'd be great to meet with everybody and see where everybody's at, and kind of give that local support that we knew needed to be there during the adoption process. I have Howie is 21 months now, and he's been home for 9 months, and love of my life besides my husband. He's getting into the terrible 2s. Yes. But just couldn't imagine another son. We love him to pieces. So
as a mom, I mean, I know you always need support from other moms. I mean, it's always good to bounce ideas off people, to know that other people go through the trials and the joys that you go through. But this is a really special community that you all have. And just talk about what it means when you get together with these ladies, and just what they bring to the table to offer you.
Well, besides just the normal not knowing things that I need to ask, just being the first-time mom and things, it's just good to get out of the house and be with people that understand what type of situation is, or if you have a bad day because, you know, he doesn't want to leave you alone or whatever. It just, it's good just to have somebody there that understands where you're at in the process and where you're at with your child, to know, okay, this is normal. You're normal. It's okay to want to get out of the house and to do other things. So it means a lot. It really does.
What drew you to this certain agency, or Vietnam in particular as a country?
I had heard good things about the agency, and there were limitations on which country I could adopt from, seeing as I'm single. And Vietnam sounded like it would be the place for me to adopt from.
And tell us, what stage are you in the process? I know it can be kind of a lengthy process.
I have completed my application part 2, and I've been on the waiting list for 5 weeks. So any day now, hopefully.
And any day then they will send you, do they send you pictures? How does that work?
Listening to the other girls, they give you a call, and they tell you there's a baby, and they tell you an age and some of the limited health history. And from there, if you accept that baby, then they'll start sending you photos. So
that's going to be a fun day.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
Tell me about how you became connected with the other ladies in the Viet Moms.
With our adoption agency, they have a mom's luncheon with prospective mothers, those that are in different stages of the process. And I went to one of these luncheons early on in the process and met Tricia and met Stacy. And through there, we just kind of grew and became closer, and I don't know what I would have done without them this entire time.
Mm-hmm. It's neat to see that everyone's different. You know, everyone has different occupations. Some people already have their babies, you're waiting, but you all have that common bond, and everybody has something different to offer. So I can only imagine that when you all get together, there's a lot to talk about.
A lot. They have been an information source for me. They've calmed my fears. They've given me, you know, that extra boost to go on and to look forward to the next process. And they've basically been my lifesaver in certain parts of this process.
As a mother myself, I know how important it is to have friendship and support on this journey of motherhood. So I love how these amazing women have bonded together on their journey of motherhood. Coming up, we're talking metabolism with our health and fitness experts. Please stay with us.